I'm on the way to the hospital to have a fistula operation. As everyone knows, I have never ever wanted to have a fistula, so I'm not looking forward to this surgery. Welcome to Diary of a Kidney Warrior. Follow my journey with chronic kidney disease, sharing faith, knowledge, hope, and love. I'm on the way to the hospital to have a fistula operation. As everyone knows, I have never ever wanted to have a fistula, so I'm not looking forward to this surgery at all. To me, there's nothing about a fistula that appeals to me. I know that the doctors will say there's less risk of infection, but it just feels like a massive defeat to be in this position. But after being through the experience of being in the hospital 3 times in a short space of time, ending up with sepsis, I don't feel like I have any choice now. And it really is not a nice position or a comfortable position to be in. I feel like I'm between a rock and a hard place. Maybe I'll look back on this and think, oh yeah, it wasn't as bad as I thought it was going to be, but at this point in time, I feel awful. The surgeon just came to see me to talk about the risks of the operation, the reason for having the operation, to create a fistula. For those who don't know what a fistula is, it's where they create a super vein by connecting an artery and a vein, which is then used to do dialysis through, as opposed to the chest line that I've been doing dialysis through. And this is supposed to be better for dialysis because there's less risk of infection, etc. So he's talked about the risks, and the success rate of this type of fistula is 70%. So there's nothing that anyone can say is going to make me feel better about this operation. So it is what it is. Hi everyone, I'm back home. I got changed, had something to eat, feeling a lot better within myself. Physically quite sore. There's a lot of bruising. The anesthetic's wearing off. And yeah, trigger warning before I show you what it looks like, because it doesn't look that great. But this is what it looks like. The incision and the bruising goes right the way across there. So yeah, it's definitely looking very sore and feeling very sore at the moment. I wanted to reflect on today, the lessons that I've learned, through this experience. And I definitely started off feeling very negative about this experience. I never, ever, ever wanted to have a fistula. There were several reasons for that, which I will go into. But for me, it felt like a defeat. But still went ahead with the surgery, and I met with the surgeon. I don't know what he was expecting really. I'm not happy about having this surgery, so I don't know if he was expecting me to be all smiley or whatever, but I was honest with him in saying that I'm not happy to have this surgery, but I don't feel like I have any choice. I don't know if that's the right thing to say to a surgeon, but you know I just didn't want to be in a position of having to wear a mask, pretend I was okay, have a smile on myself, represent myself um, inauthentically, having to um, be to the level of toxic positivity. I didn't want that. At the same time, it wasn't about being rude or defensive or anything like that. But for me, it was also about being authentic. I had a lot of anxiety and apprehension about having this surgery and how it would turn out. So he went through the risks of the operation. He informed me that there's a 70% success rate for the type of fistula that I'm having, or I have, should I say. Um, so that was a little bit comforting that it's got a very high success rate. But in the back of my mind, there is that small percentage. Um, yeah, the way my mind works, it wasn't, you know, 100% unfortunately, which obviously isn't possible. So after that, the nurses did the checks, and then I went in for the surgery. There was lots of staff. They introduced themselves, what they were going to do, what was going to happen, talked through the operation, and there was a nurse assigned to me who was with me throughout the operation. I was given the option of playing music. I took the option. So I played several songs, including Take Me to the King by Tamla Mann. And the first line of that song is Truth is I'm tired. And that really reflected of that was reflective of how I was feeling. And I did start crying during the surgery. I just allowed myself to cry. Um, and the nurse she was absolutely wonderful. She was really supportive. She taught me through it. She held my hand, and I I would say that is a significant element of how I got through this surgery. The other element was prayer. Prayed for myself, other people praying for me, and the other element was the music, definitely being able to listen to those songs and, sing along. Some of the staff were singing along too. Um, Helped me get through it. The surgery itself wasn't as difficult as I was thinking that it would be, but it was still a difficult surgery. It was still difficult. Um, but I got through it. When I looked down and I saw my hand initially, I was just like, yeah, can you put a dressing on that? It just felt too much to look at the incision. I felt like I was dealing with too much. I then went from there to recovery for, I don't know how long I was in recovery for actually. They observed me for a while, and then I went back onto the ward and was observed on the day ward for like 2 hours to make sure that I was okay. One of the staff said to me, that, when I came in, I was a little bit tense. And I was like, no, I wasn't. I was very tense. And we had a whole conversation because she was saying, oh, you shouldn't feel this and don't feel that. And I had a conversation with her to kind of challenge that thinking in terms of I don't want to take on the pressure of being superhuman and being happy all the time, smiling all the time, positive all the time. And although that is a major focus for me, looking for the light in the darkness, looking for the light at the end of the tunnel, um, seeing the glasses half full absolutely is my mindset because I am fiercely protective of my mental health. I also recognize that it's important to allow yourself to feel negative emotions, sadness, anger, frustration, whatever the emotion is, but, you know, not staying there. So it's okay not to be okay, but it's not okay to stay that way. And I just feel like I said before, having that expectation to always be positive, I think can be very toxic and just as dangerous or destructive as suppressing feelings and holding everything inside. So I allowed myself to feel. I allowed myself to grieve what my arm looked like before. I allowed myself to grieve the part the possibility of getting to transplant without having a fistula. I allowed myself to grieve, the loss of everything along the way that I've lost at this point of my journey. And I think that going forward, that will help me be a stronger person and also deal with this in a healthier way. So I think the takeaway lesson for me today in all of this is, sometimes things can seem harder in your mind than they actually are. But at the same time, recognizing that it is hard, allowing yourself to feel those feelings, but picking yourself up and focusing on the positive. Um, I don't know, I'm on day one. I don't know how this is going to be. I can only hope that the fistula is successful, it works, and I'm able to dialyze when the time comes. Or if I get a transplant before then, even better. But I'm very grateful that things have gone well to this point. I'm very grateful for the support. So many people, since I posted that I had the surgery today, have posted a message. I want to say thank you to you all. You're so amazing. You're such great support to me. I love you all. And I will continue to share about my fistula journey as things unfold. So until next time, take care and choose to live.